Unraveling the mysteries of the past often leads to paths less explored. One such path takes us to the heart of ancient Mexico, where the Aztec Empire once thrived. Born from the ashes of preceding civilizations, the Aztecs emerged as a dominant force in the 14th century, cultivating a rich and diverse culture. Nestled between mountains and lakes, their sprawling capital, Tenochtitlan, was a marvel of engineering and artistry. But beneath the beauty of their achievements lay a practice that still captures our attention and ignites our curiosity: human sacrifices. A ritual deeply ingrained in their religious and societal fabric, it was a practice both feared and revered. This video sheds light on the Aztec Empire, only to lead us into the world of human sacrifices, a subject that has fascinated scholars and laymen alike for centuries. The origins of the Aztec Empire trace back to the 13th century, when the Mexica tribe settled in the Valley of Mexico. They founded their capital city, Tenochtitlan, on an island in Lake Texcoco. Over time, the Aztecs rose to prominence, subjugating neighboring tribes and forming alliances. By the early 16th century, they controlled a vast territory that extended across modern-day Mexico. The political structure of the Aztecs was centralized and hierarchical. At the helm was Tlatoani, the supreme ruler, assisted by a council of nobles and religious leaders. Beneath them were various classes, including the nobility, warriors, merchants, and commoners. The societal structure was strict, and upward mobility was limited. Culture played a vital role in Aztec daily life. Art, music, poetry, and education were highly valued. They developed a complex calendar system and were skilled astronomers. Religion permeated every aspect of life, with numerous gods representing different natural phenomena. Their beliefs were deeply rooted in the idea that the cosmos needed to be maintained through offerings and rituals. This religious philosophy laid the foundation for one of the most intriguing aspects of Aztec civilization: human sacrifices. A practice that transcended mere ritual, it was a cornerstone of their belief system. The gods were thought to require nourishment through human life, and sacrifices were seen as a means to ensure the continued prosperity and balance of their world. The Aztecs' culture, politics, and religious beliefs wove together to form a complex and finely detailed structure. Within this multifaceted framework, the practice of human sacrifices stood as a compelling aspect of their civilization. Delving further into the world of the Aztecs will provide a closer examination of this intriguing phenomenon. The intricate connections between the divine, the earthly, and the cosmic dimensions reveal a world that remains both complex and captivating, sparking interest and inquiry even in contemporary times. Religion was the lifeblood of the Aztec civilization, permeating every aspect of daily existence. A pantheon of deities presided over various aspects of life, nature, and the cosmos. The sun god, Huitzilopochtli, was considered the most powerful, governing warfare and the sun's journey across the sky. Tlaloc, the god of rain, influenced agriculture, while Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, was a symbol of wisdom and wind. These gods and others were not distant entities but active participants in the Aztecs' daily lives, affecting everything from weather to warfare. The concept of appeasing these gods was integral to Aztec religion. They believed that the deities required nourishment to sustain the world's balance, and the most valuable offering was human life. Sacrifices were not acts of wanton violence but solemn rituals designed to preserve harmony between the earthly and the divine. Priests, adorned in ceremonial attire, would perform elaborate rituals at towering temples, culminating in the sacrifice of a chosen individual. The act was considered an honor, believed to elevate the sacrificed person to a higher spiritual plane. Human sacrifices were also deeply connected to the Aztecs' cosmic beliefs. They perceived the universe as a precarious balance between opposing forces. The sun's daily battle against darkness, the changing seasons, and the life-death rebirth cycle were all mirrored in their religious practices. Sacrifices were a means to nourish the sun, ensuring its victory over darkness and maintaining the delicate equilibrium of the universe. This interplay between the natural world and spiritual beliefs manifested in seasonal festivals, where sacrifices would correspond with celestial events. But the practice of human sacrifice was not solely about appeasing individual gods. It was part of a broader worldview that encompassed every facet of existence. It was a philosophical understanding that life was transient, connected to something greater, and constantly in need of renewal. Sacrifices were symbolic gestures reinforcing the interconnectedness of all things, a concept both profound and challenging. It was a complex procedure enveloped in religious symbolism and conducted with meticulous care. The victims selected for sacrifice were often prisoners of war, but they could also include slaves or individuals chosen from within the Aztec community. The selection process was governed by specific criteria, such as physical appearance, which might symbolize a particular deity. Once chosen, the victims were treated with reverence and often given special attire. A period of preparation ensued, during which they might partake in ceremonial feasts and rituals, creating a bond with the priests and community. Sacrifices were performed at specific locations, with the Templo Mayor in Tenochtitlan being the most prominent. This grand pyramid-shaped structure housed two temples dedicated to the gods Tlaloc and Huitzilopochtli. Various other temples across the empire served similar purposes. These architectural marvels were designed to elevate the sacrificial ceremonies to a divine level, with stairs leading to a platform where the rituals took place, closer to the heavens. The ceremonies were elaborate, filled with music, dancing, and prayers. Priests adorned in sacred garments would lead the procession, guiding the victim to the sacrificial stone. The community often participated, creating a collective spiritual experience. Rituals varied according to the deity being honored, the occasion, and the cosmic significance. The timing could be aligned with celestial events or agricultural cycles, adding layers of meaning to the ceremonies. The methods employed were both symbolic and precise. A common procedure involved laying the victim across a stone altar, where a priest would use a specialized obsidian knife to make an incision in the chest. The heart, considered the seat of the soul, was then removed and offered to the deity. Other methods included decapitation, drowning, or entombment, each corresponding to a specific god or purpose. The practice of human sacrifice was more than a mere act of violence. It was a carefully choreographed process that wove together theology, cosmology, and community. Every step, from the selection of the victim to the final offering, was imbued with meaning, reflecting a worldview in which the human and divine were intimately connected. It also had an impact on neighboring tribes and relations. While some tribes were integrated into the Aztec system and shared similar beliefs, others were appalled by the scale and intensity of the sacrifices. For allies, participation in the rituals might strengthen bonds and affirm shared cultural values. For enemies or those subjugated by the Aztecs, the sacrifices could be a source of intimidation and control, reinforcing the power dynamics within the region. Human sacrifices, thus, were not merely religious acts. They had political and social implications, shaping relationships between different groups. The cultural idiom, offering life for life's renewal, encapsulates the Aztecs' understanding of sacrifices. Life was not seen as a static entity, but as part of a continuous cycle of birth, growth, decay, and rebirth. Sacrifices were not the taking of life, but a transformation, a return of the life force to its divine source to ensure the renewal of the world. This perspective permeated their art, literature, and daily practices, influencing how they viewed not only death, but the very essence of existence. The practice of human sacrifice in the Aztec civilization has long been a subject of both fascination and misunderstanding, eliciting contrasting viewpoints from contemporary and historical perspectives. For some, the ritualistic taking of human life inspires awe, reflecting a deep spiritual commitment and a unique cultural expression. For others, it evokes revulsion and condemnation, seen as a barbaric practice that defies modern sensibilities. This dichotomy of awe and revulsion has given rise to myths and exaggerations that often cloud the true understanding of the practice. Some accounts, particularly those penned by early European chroniclers, portrayed the Aztecs as bloodthirsty savages, focusing solely on the sensational aspects of the sacrifices. These narratives have shaped public perception, at times overshadowing the nuanced cultural, religious, and philosophical context in which the sacrifices took place. Addressing these misunderstandings requires a careful examination of both Aztec texts and modern scholarly research. The sacrifices were not arbitrary acts of violence, but a complex system of beliefs and rituals that connected the human, divine, and natural worlds. The numbers of victims and the methods employed have often been inflated in popular accounts, obscuring the symbolic and community-oriented nature of the practice. Controversies surrounding Aztec human sacrifices highlight the challenges of interpreting a civilization's practices through the lens of contemporary values and understanding. The once prevalent practice of human sacrifice in the Aztec Empire did not endure indefinitely. Over time, shifts in religious beliefs and political dynamics began to transform this integral part of Aztec life. As ideas evolved and new philosophies emerged, the rituals that were once central started to wane in importance. A significant factor in the decline of sacrificial practices was the influence of foreign invasions, particularly by the Spanish. With the arrival of Spanish conquistadors and missionaries, new religious ideologies were introduced, often forcibly replacing indigenous beliefs. The condemnation of human sacrifices by the Europeans, combined with their military dominance, led to a swift cessation of these rituals. The practice became a symbol of the broader cultural suppression, part of a larger pattern of colonization and assimilation. Interestingly, remnants of sacrificial practices continue to echo in modern times. Though no longer performed, the symbolism and underlying beliefs can still be found in certain rituals, artworks, and cultural expressions within Mexico and other regions with Aztec heritage. These subtle traces remind us that the past is not entirely gone, but continues to shape and inform the present, allowing for a reflection on how traditions evolve and resonate through the ages. The Aztec practice of human sacrifices reveals a profound and complex facet of a civilization that viewed life and death as intertwined elements of existence. This age-old tradition, though often misunderstood, continues to intrigue and mystify, offering insights into a worldview that transcends time. If this exploration has captured your interest, don't forget to subscribe for more captivating historical content.